Hey, what's up, YouTube fam? Mark here. We're going to take a ride and we're going to talk about the new law with Florida and texting and what you need to know when you own your Tesla. So let's take a little ride and we'll head out. You guys ready?
Do you think we can be better? Do you think we can be better? Do you think we can be better?
So, spoiler alert, Teslas are not fully autonomous vehicles, and we're going to talk about that today. So, Florida's come out with a brand new statute, and basically what it is a ban on texting and driving. You can do everything else in your car, but you cannot hold your phone up and text and drive. There are some caveats about that. There's some little exemptions, if you will, and one of those is not this right here, because it is still manned. It is one of those things that that the statute has, and I'll read that statute verbatim to you, what is considered an autonomous vehicle here in just a little bit. But a Tesla at this current moment on the standard software is not. Now, just a little heads up, I was law enforcement. I did that for a number of years, I think about 8 years, 9 years, and kind of retired out and do my current full-time job of photography. So I know a little bit about what is going on here and why they're doing it. They were pushing for it for a long time. And under Florida statute 316.305 is what you're going to be able to find all of the information on what you have to do and what needs to be done and when and where you can't do things. Now, it's such a silly law, if you ask my opinion. And the reason why I say it's a silly law is because with the tinted windows and with vehicles driving by you, how can they tell exactly what you're doing? So it's going to get a lot of people pulled over, and then you're going to have to tell them or dispel them the belief of that you were texting and driving by telling them one of 3 or 4 different exemptions. Now, that's where it gets done, because in most cases, in order to be stopped or detained, you have to be committing a crime or about to commit a crime or going to commit a crime. Not a speculation that you might be texting is not that. But nonetheless, you're going to get pulled over, and now it is a primary offense. What primary offense and secondary offense means, so for instance, if you don't have your seatbelt in Florida, primary offense. If you are speeding, primary offense. Not having your registration, secondary offense, because they don't know exactly if that's the case if you don't have your registration on you, and they can't just pull you over and stop you. Insurance card, same thing, registration. Primary offense would be your tag expired. So those are some of the examples of primary and secondary offenses, and there's not many secondary offenses it's there. So some of the exemptions that I want to go over is, of course, law enforcement are exempt, but they're only exempt if they are in the official capacity to do this. So they can't be texting their girlfriend, their wife, or something like that. So they have to be texting maybe a supervisor or sergeant saying, I'm on my way to you for whatever thing there. Just like most people don't hear. Am I guilty of it? Sometimes. But as of this law coming out, nope, I'm not guilty of it. Sorry to let you know. So what do you do if you're stopped? You never admit guilt. That's one of the things that I do right there, is you just never want to admit guilt of it, because right now they're only in the warning phase of it, but still, when it comes out and after January 1st is the deadline, there will be penalties. All right, guys, so let's talk about this whole statute, 316.305, and what it means to us as Tesla owners, okay? Now, our vehicles are not autonomous. I just want to let you know that. You know that. They're not fully autonomous yet. They still require you to maintain some control, monitoring the vehicles. That's what it is there. But that's good and it's bad, because soon, hopefully, since it is now in Florida, autonomous vehicles are permitted on the roadways, and you can have an autonomous vehicle fully operating. The governor signed it into law that they can operate in Florida. So that's a good thing right there for us, because if Tesla and Elon Musk pushes that out there, we can get the full self-driving when it's ready. There's going to be a lot of weird things going on. Law enforcement do this, and again, me being law enforcement retired out of myself, they'll get in trucks that are tall, or cars or rider trucks, or even modified cars and vehicles, and have 2 or 3 officers on each side looking down and watching to see what you're doing. Then they have another chase vehicle that stops you. There's a big task force. They do this on the interstate all the time. So what does that mean for us? You got to be careful. One, you don't want to text anyway, but if you are going to, or if you're going to hold your phone, there's a couple rules to that as well. There's 2 rules to it. If you're in a work zone and or a school zone, you cannot even hold your phone while you're in a work zone or a school zone, which is great because you want to be paying attention to the road there. That's perfect. But let's talk about some of the exemptions in case you do get pulled over. Again, this is all information that you can find on the internet here. I am not advising you of any laws or legal advice, but I want to go into some of the exemptions for it here. So some of the exemptions are reporting emergencies, navigation, you can get traffic and weather alerts. So essentially what that means, if you're doing anything other than texting, putting data entry in, like texting on a SMS system or the iMessage your friend or family, then you can do it. You can brush your teeth, you can do your makeup, you can do your hair, but you cannot just text and drive. Reading text messages is a violation. So if you pick up the phone and you look at a text message, the statute's indicating that that's a violation as well. But again, how are they going to figure this out when they're next to you on here? As long as you don't admit guilt, that's the biggest thing, is what people do is they admit guilt. If you have a valid defense on what you were doing, then use that valid defense, because insurance is going to start rising, like running red lights and seatbelt tickets and a few of the other things that come about when insurance starts to tack on extra fees because you were speeding or you were doing some other type of violation, and then your insurance goes up. So this one here is going to be a direct result of insurance going up if you start getting tickets. Now, the way the tickets work, or the citations work in Florida, there's 2 tiers for it. The first one, when you get a citation, it's a non-moving violation, and I'll put the fines for our local area in the description below. So what about that? So when you get that first non-moving violation, your insurance company does get that report that you get a citation. Now, when you get the second one, you get moving violation, which means points on your license. Now, if you're in Florida and you get 3 points, your insurance goes up. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So this is one right here that you're going to have to pay attention. Hopefully these Teslas will get to be self-driving sooner than later, so that way we can do it. One thing that I know from being law enforcement myself is law enforcement cannot take your phone and seize it. No matter what it is, they just can't take it for a traffic offense. But if there's a criminal offense, or if there's a vehicular homicide, they may be able to take it. What you need to do is consult with an attorney and actually find out what they can and can't do. But on the roadside, they can't search your phone. They can't go in through your phone and just start digging around in it. If there's an accident or a crash with injury, or any injury or death, then they can subpoena essentially the wireless communication bill from you and see when you're texting. So that's what they'll do. And that is every crash. If you don't know it in 2019, anybody that's going to crash, oh, my shoulder hurts. So what can they do? Type in a portal. We need their bill. They got this injury and this is the crash. And then the phone company is going to send them your texting history right then and there. That's the way it's going to be working in Florida. What do we need to know for now? Warnings till January. That's one of the great things about it, is they're going to be educating, but that doesn't mean that they can't do other things, get your registration, write your tickets for something else. They can stop you right now as of July 1st for a texting violation and then cite you for something else. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Thanks for hitting that bell button. And if you have any other questions, you want to leave them in the comments. I am responding to comments down below. And always, I want to thank you guys very much. Thanks for hitting that bell button. Thanks for subscribing, and all the supporters out there that have sent me some DMs and the information. And I will see you guys again soon.